So I'm excited for today's video. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about presidential elections. Let's look at history and see what Bitcoin has done around the election, before the election, and after the elections. And let's look at the halving chart of Bitcoin. All of these things combined makes me so bullish on Bitcoin. We have doubled down on everything we built, our investments, UIG, everything over the last few years, really waiting for this moment, and I don't want you to miss the ride. Now, that said, will we see some more volatility? Probably. Will we see 15-20% market corrections? Probably. But it's hilarious to me how reactive, emotional people get when the markets move and they just miss the bigger picture. So my job and a big part of what I do is constantly helping people zoom out and say, oh, we're headed to 100, 120K plus, and here's why, and that makes sense. So I don't really care what happens in the short term. I'm going to keep yield farming. I'm going to keep creating an income, and I'm going to keep feeding my DeFi portfolio. And that's that. Let me know if you're on the same page. So let's look at a few things. We're going to look at 16, we're going to look at 20, we're going to look at the election in 2024. We're going to look at what happened right before the elections. I think in 2016, we saw a 30-35% correction. In 2020, I think it was a little milder. I think it was around 16-17%. And we just saw another fairly large correction from 70 down to 50, and a lot of people exited the markets. They were exit liquidity, and investors, not gamblers, investors like you and I probably bought up a lot of Bitcoin and ETH. If you've been following this channel, you know I dumped a lot of my profits into scooping up some good deals at around that, just over that 50K mark. So let's have a peek. Let's go way back, and we got to zoom way into actually, isn't this crazy? We are bummed that Bitcoin is at 30K, 40K, 50K. There was a time, and let me know in the comments if you're an OG, there's a time where Bitcoin was $720. Can you believe that? Nobody thought it would be a $50,000. Are you crazy? Nobody thought that was possible. There was probably very few people who saw the vision. And now we're sitting at 63, and probably no one thinks Bitcoin could be $1 million asset. Someone asked us this: what is the best way to hedge against the devaluation of our currency? Which, by the way, it's down like 90% over the last 50 years or something crazy like that. What's the best way? Let me know in the comments. You buy assets that appreciate. And that can look like real estate. It can look like potentially gold. There's a lot of argument for that. It could look like digital currency like Bitcoin. And I do think Bitcoin has easily the potential to be $1 million asset. Will it be tomorrow? No. Will it be in the next year? No. Will it be in the next 4 years? Probably not. But at some point it will. And I can tell you right now, nobody thought it was going to be $50,000 at 720, and I think very few people see the bigger picture even now. Humans continue this madness. It's wild to me. But if you have a look here, Bitcoin at one point, let's put my pointer on here, was 761, crept up to 780. People were probably going crazy here from 430, big double, up to 785. Imagine being in crypto at this time. Just imagine. You're sitting at 778, and all of a sudden, over the course of a few months, you see a minus almost 40% drop. And then you see it rebound, and then we have the election, and then things went parabolic. 1,300, 3,000. We can keep going. 19,000. Millionaires were created who saw the vision. And many poor people were created who kind of bought the top, freaked out, sold the bottoms, and lost money, right? And we all know what happened after that. Okay, moving on to the next. We're looking at 2020. This was a good time. This was a really good time. We saw a big bounce here, down 20, almost 20%. It actually was a little more than 20%, probably from here down. I know it was around 20%. I kind of remember this. A lot of people freaked out, thought the world was over. And we were right back down to $9,928. And then 2 months later, election happens, and bam, 23, 33, 38, all the way up to 42, laddering out, taking profit. If you're disciplined, you made a lot of money here. If you weren't disciplined, then you potentially got hurt, or you just wrote it up, wrote it down. 54, who remembers this? This was crazy. And then, of course, 60, whatever we were, big correction, volatility, blah, blah, blah. As long as you're laddering out and you're following the strategies, you'll be okay. If you're not, and you're trying to sell the tops, you're probably going to get hurt. Bear market happens, blah, blah, blah. Now we're back, and I don't know why people aren't celebrating. We're at 62. That, to me, is wild, but I don't know. People are people. And guess what? A few months here till the election, and we saw a massive, what are we looking at here? Over a few months, let's just call it 71, 72, all the way down to, for a moment, 50. And this was a beautiful buying opportunity. We bounced back up. Look at the pattern that's developing. This looks almost the exact same before every election. I'm not saying this is gospel, this is truth, but I'm just trying to instill in us the bigger picture, first of all. Two, Bitcoin is not done. It's not going to be done anytime soon. Even what we're talking about here, to be honest with you, 59, 60, it's going to go to 100, small picture. I'm thinking $300, $500 million Bitcoin. How do I position myself to take advantage of that? And if this pattern continues this election, I don't know what we could see. I'm looking at 120. I'm laddering out now starting at 80. But we could see 120, 150, 200. We could see a beautiful bull run. Now, is that guaranteed? No. How do you hedge against that? Well, you're in liquidity pools. You build a DeFi business that prints you cash every single day. Check out, I'll put some videos up here to show you exactly how to do it. You use those profits to keep dollar cost averaging in no matter what happens. And when things pop off, which could be in the next few months, and when things pop off, you take advantage of that. You're positioned for it, and you take profit. Most people still won't take profit even after watching this video. They won't take. In the comments, let me know if you're committed to actually taking profits. And then guess what? We get to redeploy to the next bear market and add another zero or 10x, 20x, 30x your wealth. That's the game we play, zoomed out approach. I really hope this helped. In the comments, let me know what you think. If you've been in the game for a while and you've seen these cycles occur, what do you see happening? Where do you see things going? Would love to make this a two-way conversation. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. Do let me know in the comments. And with that said, I'll leave 4 videos on the 4 corners of your screen. Do check them out, study this stuff. And with that said, we'll talk soon. Peace.